If you're watching this video, it's probably because you can't decide between these two best-selling treadmills from NordicTrack. On my left, your right, is the NordicTrack Commercial 1750, and on my right, your left, is the NordicTrack Commercial 2450. In this video, I'm going to show you the similarities between these machines, but more importantly, their differences. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly which one of these treadmills is the right one for you. Let's get cracking. I've not just spent hours or days with these machines, it's been months and months. And let me show you some stats on this one here. So far year to date, so 2023, 118 hours doing NordicTrack workouts, 708 miles, 50,000 calories, and 205 workouts. And that's split across all NordicTrack equipment. So you can see here I've had 80 hours on this treadmill, 268 miles, and slightly less on the 1750, 17 hours and at least a couple of marathons there. One area where these treadmills really do excel and are equal is with comfort. I would score the comfort rating on here as 9 out of 10, probably 9.5 out of 10, and they are very comfortable to run on. I've done probably 4 or 5 leg workouts this century. And I do suffer occasionally with knee pain, calf pain, and sometimes hip pain. When I had a Peloton tread, that was very much a rolling a dice as to whether I was going to get injured or not. After well over a year of using NordicTrack treadmills, I've not had any injuries. They are very soft, but not too soft to run on. And I feel as fit as I've ever felt, and my legs feel as strong as I've ever felt using these treadmills. NordicTrack call this Runner's Flex. They're both equally as comfortable and both equally as excellent. When it comes to motors, both treadmills go from -3 all the way up to +12. And if I come back here and show you what that looks like, this one's at its lowest setting and this one's at its highest setting. You can imagine the difference if you're on a hike. And when you're at -3, this brings in a whole different set of muscles running downhill, and also balance plays a big part as well, because you're a bit like this as you're going down. And at +12, I found that the hikes at +12 or higher levels, sort of 8, 9, 10, and 11 and 12, can be equally as difficult as the runs. So if you're looking for something perhaps a little bit more low impact, just get some hikes in. Both of these treadmills have powerful walking belt motors. So lots of people say you want to be at 3 continuous horsepower or above. On the 1750, this is a 3.5 continuous horsepower motor. And on the 2450, it's a 3.6 continuous horsepower motor. And the difference in these two motors, I just genuinely can't tell. In fact, I'm slightly I don't quite understand why you would make two motors that are so close to each other, 3.5 and 3.6. And I think if you're using these treadmills, even if you're hopping from one to the other at fairly high speeds, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between these two motors. And if you're thinking about buying one of these treadmills, I'll put a link in the description. That will take you to the best price on NordicTrack's website, and it also helps support the channel and enables me to make more videos like this one. So that's greatly appreciated. Thanks. Now, my second favorite feature on these treadmills is this one, which is Smart Adjust. And this means it's customizing the workouts based on my previous workouts. You see here, we've got some pretty extreme terrain to deal with today. Now, at the moment, you can see the treadmill's at -2 because we're just going down some steps, and the speed is at 2.9. Now, if I found this was too easy, I could increase the speed down here. And you'll get this message, which says, all right, I'll remember this for the rest of the session. Also, if it's too hard, which is more likely for me, you can do the same and it will remember it for the session. And you can also pair that with my favorite feature, which is active pulse. Now, I'm just standing on the edge of the treadmill, so my heart rate isn't very high, it's only 88. And it's saying my target heart rate here should be between 118 and 128. And because the tread knows my age, height and weight, it will keep me in the zones it wants me to be. So if, for instance, my heart rate is too low, which it is now because I'm not actually moving on the treadmill, it will increase the speed of the treadmill until I get into that heart rate zone. If my heart rate is too high, which is generally what happens to me, it then reduces the intensity of the speed and the incline to put me in the zone it knows I should be in. Your zones will be different to mine, but you can see what mine are here and what the machine's working to. And if you're worried about the machine running away from you, within these features, you can cap your top speed. I've got mine capped to 7 miles an hour. Next are the tablets, and I bet this is your sticking point. So both tablets are excellent. They're very smooth, they're very easy to live with, there's not really any lag, and it's just like using kind of an iPad of different sizes, basically. Both screens rotate 180 degrees in either direction for off-the-tread workouts, and really the biggest difference is definitely size, but one thing to consider is the actual workouts. So these workouts are in 1080p. Here is the same workout side by side. I've tried to match it as best I can. And the main difference here, yes, is screen. And with these workouts being 1080p, and excuse the noise of the treadmill, they do look very good on both machines. This is the larger 2450. However, and I'm not sure how well this will come across, I think on the 14-inch, the contrast is slightly better. If you look at the dark colours in her coat, the contrast there I think is slightly better, and also with the rocks and also with the trees and the greenery in the background. I certainly think the 2450 is more cinematic, and if you're running, and you're probably going to be this far away from it if you're actually running, so it does take up a lot of your field of vision, whereas on the 1750, this is your field of vision. It's a tough one, isn't it? When I'm working out, I'm switching between these two treadmills and also my S22i bike, which has the same monitor as this one. And I thought I would notice the difference, and I thought I would be always leaning towards this screen, but I'm not. I can genuinely say it doesn't make any difference to me which screen I'm on. If you're the sort of person where if something says Pro Plus or Max on the end of it, you'll buy it, then you should definitely get this one. I kind of feel like this is by far enough screen for most people though. And I am that person too. I've just recently bought some Apple AirPod Max headphones, and I didn't really need them, and it turns out I was allergic to them. And I don't know how well you can see that, but this is just about as sore as it looks. So which one should you choose? And I actually can't wait to do this workout now. It wasn't really on my radar, but because I've been playing it for this video, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go for the whole series now. I think because the motor sizes are just that close, and there's not really much difference, and you won't be able to tell the difference, it does come down to screen price. And if cost is an issue, if you're thinking you don't want to stretch to this one over this one, then I would consider the 3-year ownership cost. So last year I bought an annual membership for a family of 5, so 5 users essentially, for $250. So that's $250 for the year. This year though, and I'm going to just talk about this in a moment because I'm really excited about this. I'm going to talk about it now. This year, just before I made this video, the Black Friday sale banner came up on my phone, and I looked at the prices, and it was $267 for a year, and I thought that's pretty good. $250 last year, $267 this year. I thought, yeah, that's still a good price. But then they had this offer. So because I'm in, you can tell I'm invested. You can see I'm invested. I bought a 2-year membership, and that brought the price down to like 207, or was it 217 a year for the next 2 years. And I'm like, wow, that is just, even at full price, I think this is exceptional value because of the off-the-tread stuff you get as well, such as yoga and strength training, etc. But when you get those sale prices, which come up several times a year, I mean, it is just really good value. So my point was, if you're keeping this machine for say 5 years and you're averaging say $300 a year for your membership, $250 or $300 a year for your membership, you need to add that on to the cost of ownership to these treadmills. And when you add that on, the percentage of price difference between these two machines is actually not that much. You'll find that it does bring them closer together over that 5-year ownership. Previously, this was called Man Maths. I'm sorry, gents, if you're watching, I know that I'm spoiling it for everyone. But now it's called I Want It Maths. So if you're trying to get this past yourself or a loved one, this is good reasoning to use. The other thing to consider, especially at this time of year, so I'm releasing this video on the day that I filmed it, which is unusual for me, is there's a big sale at the moment, the Black Friday sale. If in your region, and it's different depending on where you are in the world, and as I've mentioned, I'll put a link in the description which will take you to NordicTrack's website for where you are, and it also helps support the channel. In the US at the moment, for instance, this is quite heavily discounted, so it does make this actually quite an easy decision to make over this one, because I don't think the price difference currently reflects having a bigger screen. Essentially all it is several $100s more just for a bigger screen. However, if you're in the UK where I am, the difference in price is a little bit less. So you might think to yourself, looking at these 5-year costs as well, maybe I would want to pay a little bit more for the bigger screen. I hope this all makes sense. Whichever one you choose, I know that you'll be happy because I'm over the moon with these treadmills, and out of every treadmill that I've ever used, every home treadmill I've ever used, these are head and shoulders above the rest. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to put my full review of the 2450 right here, and also my full review of the 1750 right here. It doesn't matter which one you pick, because at the end of that video, it will link into the other one, always thinking, so you'll get my full review on each tread if you feel like you need more information. I hope you found this video useful, and until next time, see you soon.